Yellow. So, question. If someone that you know, within your church family, within your close circle of believers, does something wrong against you, like they backstab you or they say something that's not true, maybe they don't know it's not true, what do? Do you bring it up to them? Or do you just kind of let it go and be like, they didn't mean it? What if it happens again? Do you still not bring it up to them? Because maybe they're not aware that either they're doing it or maybe they have false information that they got from somewhere and they actually believe it and you need to address it. But if you don't address it, then what does that do to your relationship? Matthew 18, verse 15. If your brother sins against you, go and show him his fault, just between the two of you. If he listens to you, you have won your brother over. First, if your brother in Christ, sins against you. Second, it's in private. It's just the two of you. It's like, hey, yo, there was something that you said or did or whatever, and I'm not sure you're clear on what is real and what is not real about that. Can we iron this out? And this is between believers, because if someone doesn't have the same belief system as you, then if someone's not a Christian, you can't say, oh, you sinned. Because that's not where their mindset is. If I'm in a conversation with somebody else who's not a Christian, doesn't believe in God, I can't tell them that they're living a sinful life because they don't believe sin exists. From my point of view, they're living a sinful life because I believe that sin exists. But unless they have the same belief system, then that's not going to be valid. That's not going to be valid. So, this is if your brother in Christ, if someone who believes the same way you do, sins against you, then you need to bring it up to them in private, because it has nothing to do with anybody else. The sin is against you. The sin isn't against a group of people. Okay, so next verse 16. But if you will not listen, take one or two others along. So this is after you talk with him in private. Take one or two others along, so that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. Quote. Jesus is quoting the Old Testament here. So, first of all, other people who are same-minded. So if the person that you're saying sinned against you is like, I don't think I am. I don't think you're right. Let's just leave it as it is. They're not believing you. They don't see it. So take other people who are same-minded with you. Second, Jesus is referring back to the Old Testament. Jesus knew the old law and followed it and reminded others of it, because God's law was given to Moses in the Old Testament, and the 10 Commandments in this time were what people followed. Third, he's taking a couple other people along with him to say their testimony. They're not bringing them along to barrage or berate the other person, but to remind and encourage based on their personal experiences. So they're talking to this other person that doesn't recognize the sin that they're doing based on their own experiences in the Bible with God, trying to help him realize, okay, it's not just this one other person that is seeing this, but based on other experiences, based on what they've seen, hey, there is something wrong here. It's not just that one person saying there's something wrong here. There is something wrong here. So let's deal with this. Now, verse 17. If he refuses to listen to them, the group of a couple people coming to talk to him, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen, even to the church, treat him as you would a pagan or a tax collector. Now, hold on a second. This doesn't mean they're casting him out. First of all, if a fellow believer will not listen to love and reason and caring, all coming from a place of grace and truth, then that person who calls themselves a believer, the same as you, is not who they say they are. Because, second, when someone who thinks that what they know is blinded by the devil into separating the fellowship of believers, they must be divided from the fellowship. Until there is an aha or a change of heart and mind, that person is only going to wreak havoc within the church. And then it would split more and more people away from God and damning them to an eternity of fire. If someone is drowning and they don't receive help, and the help they do receive they won't accept, thinking they can do it on their own, or worse yet, dragging down others with them to a watery grave, you have to step back and allow them to go that way, because you've done what you could, and you have to protect yourself too. So if someone who is doing something wrong, you're trying to keep them accountable, which is a huge thing in Christianity. We keep each other accountable. It's iron sharpens iron. If people don't want to be held accountable, if they don't see the fault in what they're doing, and they won't listen to reason, whether it's from the one person that brings it up to them, or if it's from a group of people that say, hey, we've all noticed this, and they still don't want to listen, that's when you have to bring it to your larger group of believers who you would consider your church family. But yeah, this is how we need to address sins within our Christian community. So yeah, in Matthew 18, verse 15, 16, and 17, this is a good reminder and a good go-to on how to keep each other accountable and to continue to love on each other. Because accountability is part of loving. It's very smart. Of course it's smart. It's Jesus talking. Anyway, see you guys.